Hey everyone, this is Ashley with CT Marina Digitals. I'm going to go do a tutorial to show you how to use the fairy wing backdrops in Photoshop. This is typically not really my style, but I thought these were beautiful and I wanted to create them for other people, but I'm going to do a tutorial the best I can to show an image that I typically use. These would be best used with images that are like already backlit because you can see there's golden light peeking through the back. I'm just going to edit, this one's not, I'm going to edit it so it looks like it is. So I already had my initial image open and I just went over to my quick selection tool and I did select subject and just cleaned up the edges to select my subject that I want to put into the photo. So I'm just going to go ahead and select all, edit copy, and paste into my image. Now first things first, most of the light's coming from this side, so I'm going to select the image of her. I'm going to right click and I'm just going to click flip horizontal. And then I'm going to resize. I want to click up here to keep my proportions for now. Okay. And then I'm going to lower the opacity on her. So these leaves down here, I want to make sure that they're visible through her dress. Tulle dresses are like love-hate relationship. They are not very easy to blend into digital backdrops, but it's possible. I'm going to create a layer mask on her, go over to my brush, black brush, 100% opacity. And I'm going to zoom in. And I'm going to brush off where the leaves are, because I want it to look like she's standing behind them, because that's what she would be doing if she were actually in the image. So these ones are up front. Certain parts of the tutorial that parts like this are kind of tedious. If you want to fast forward through the video, you can. In this set, there are some that work more for adults or for maternity. There's smaller ones that work for children. There's up close ones if you don't want the whole body in the shot. Make sure there's nothing else I want to. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and make her layer 100%. As you can see, there's a little bit of area that I want to brush back on. That's a white brush to brush back on. I don't want like any of the green really showing through there. Get rid of that one completely. And then I'll take a really small brush. I'm going to go back to the black and I'm just going to see where these stems would kind of be. Kind of create my own. I actually don't really like how that looks. So I'm going to go back in. Oops. Click back on that. I'm going to brush. I'm going to do like 22%. I'm going to brush, white brush, brush most of that back in the stems that I created, just because I don't want them to be that noticeable. Okay. Now, lighting. So I want to make it look like she is more backlit. So I'm going to click on her. I'm going to go over to my dodge tool, and I'm going to go to highlights, and I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to go around the outside of her body, around the edge, and as you can see, this is going to make it look as if there's much more light coming from around her. Not everywhere. Like, I don't want to do much over here, because that's still on the shadow side. A little bit too much there on top. Okay, now I'm going to add a new layer. I'm going to make it color. And I'm going to create a clipping mask by right-clicking and create clipping mask. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to select, hold down Alt, and I'm going to select that yellow color right there. And I'm going to do it 100% first. And I'm just going to paint in a little bit of that yellow on the edge of her dress. And then I'm going to lower the opacity. Okay, I'm going to come back to her. I'm going to go back to my dodge tool. This time I'm going to do midtones, and I'm just going to make this side of her a bit brighter. And make sure she's selected. I'm going to go up to Filter, Camera Raw, and I'm going to lift the shadows on her a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit of clarity. Okay, and now above her image, I'm going to create a new layer. And that's automatically already going to create a clip-in mask because it's in between this layer. I'm going to go over to my gradient tool, and I'm just going to choose the white to black, or black to white. And then I'm going to drag from up here down on her. That's going to make it a little bit darker here and a little bit lighter on this side. I don't want to, there we go. I'm going to change that to soft light. I'm going to create a layer mask. And I'm going to use a black brush and brush off this side where the shadows are. So you can see that just added, it made it more even. So it's not, the lighting's not so harsh because the lighting's going to be a little bit more even on this one. Go up, and I'm going to create a curves layer. I'm going to bring down curves just a little bit. Okay, I don't mind how her dress looks right now, but I do want to add, I'm going to create a new layer above her. Multiply blending mode, and I'm gonna choose a dark color in her dress down here, and I'm gonna do 20% opacity, and I'm gonna brush in shadows so it blends into the ground more. Do want to add some shadows over here, not much. This is all just trying to make all the lighting match. That's the most important part. Okay, and then I'm going to create another layer above her, and I'm going to go to my gradient tool, and let's see, go up to my basics, and I'm going to click on the foreground to transparent, and I'm going to change this color. Click there. I'm just going to change it to black. Actually, no, I'm not. I don't know why I said that. I'm going to click up here and I'm going to check this color right up here. Okay. And then I'm going to drag. Oops, sorry guys. Drag this all the way up here. And you want to right click it, release clipping mask, because I want this on the whole image. And then I'm going to make that, I'm going to play around with it. What I'm doing is I'm just adding a gradient to create a little light leak. I don't know what I want to use it on yet here. I'm gonna do linear dodge, and I'm gonna bring it down just a little bit. I'm gonna create a layer mask. 20% is fine, black brush, and I'm gonna brush it off a little bit on her face. Okay, my curves. I'm going to lower the opacity on that just a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to click on her layer. Zoom in. Make sure you clean up the edges if you need to. I did pretty good before I pasted her onto here. Like, her edges are already blurred, but you can go in and blur them a little bit more if you need to. I'm going to go to the backdrop, and I'm going to create, duplicate the layer. Go up to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and I'm just going to blur it probably about just 2. Okay, and then I'm going to flatten the image. Right click, flatten image, because I want to work with it all together now. I got her where I how I want her to be. I'm going to go up to filter, camera raw filter. I'm going to add some clarity. I'm going to bring my contrast up just a little bit. I'm going to bring my blacks down just a little bit. Okay. And now I just want to up the shadows on her face a little bit. I'm just going to go to my dodge tool, shadows, and I'm just going to brush that on her upper body and like her hand. A few spots, just a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to go down to my, I don't even know what it's called, guys. This down here. I'm going to add a solid color filter to it. And I want to do like a pink color. You can click around. As you can see, you can play with different ones for that too. Soft light I usually use it on, or I just use it on normal, and I lower the opacity on it. I don't know if I want to do that or soft light. Sorry if you hear my puppy in the background. Okay. And that just, the only reason I did that is just I wanted to like her purple to blend a little bit more with the backdrop, because there's a lot more like blues in here. And I thought that would be a pretty touch. Go in here, you can add a little bit more blur around the edges. Go to my dot or my burn tool on shadows, and there's just certain parts of the image. Go ahead and duplicate your layer so you don't lose your work. I'm just going to add shadows for a little bit of depth in certain parts. going to sharpen her face in certain spots. Sharpen the wings out just a little bit. Add some more shadow underneath her arm here. Or you can do it that way, or you can create a new layer and use multiply. I like to do it on about 20% your brush, and then add some shadow in that way too. It adds it to the wing too, which is fine. I like my burn tool better for that. Okay. I'm going to create and I could have done this when I had my layers separate, but it's fine to do it in between. I'm going to add a photo filter layer with orange selected here. And I'm going to press Control or Command I on my keyboard to invert it. That means it's not on the image unless I brush it on. And then I'm going to use a white brush. I'm going to do it at 100% opacity for now. And I'm going to brush it on parts of her that I feel like that light, that golden light, should be hitting a little bit more. She's still kind of cool in some areas. So you can see she went from being a lot cooler to making it look more realistic that golden light's falling on her. Again, if you use an image where you already have golden light in the image, like if you use a picture of somebody outside, it's way, way, way easier to blend it. But going from a studio photo to something like this, it takes a little bit more work, but it's possible. I'm gonna burn down here a little bit, her dress in the ground to blend that. If you want, you can duplicate the image, which I think I'm going to go up to blur, Gaussian blur. I'm going to add a lot more blur, and then I'm going to create a layer mask and Control or Command I to invert. To go up to my brush, white brush at 100% opacity, and I'm going to brush some of that blur into the backdrop. Okay, before, after. If you have any questions or need more inspiration in your maternity photographer, join my group on Facebook. I'll link it in the description. If you have any other questions or you're not a maternity photographer, you just have questions about the editing or your order, you can just contact me on Etsy.